Hello, and welcome to Let's Get Lit. In today's video, we're going to go over the review of Edgar Allan Poe's The Pit and the Pendulum, and we're also going to go over the movie from 1961 starring Vincent Price with the same name. Alright, you guys ready? Let's dive into this classic story. First, I'll start with the story in and of itself. This is a quintessential Edgar Allan Poe story, one that I'm sure everyone will have read or has read at some point in their life. I think the story is so much fun, it's so quick, and it's really just a blast to read. I love the fact this story is only 10 pages, but through this 10 pages, you really get that sense of dread and death and grief, and it's really fun to read through. One thing I really do enjoy is that at the start of the story, you're just thrown into the middle of everything, and the reader learns with the narrator what's going on in real time, which is really fun for the reader, and I believe why it really works so well as a scary story. I think the way that Poe writes it, where he can never really be sure of anything, gives us, the reader, the sense of uneasiness. So do I recommend it? Of course I recommend it. I think this is one that everybody can read with no problem, especially because it's only like 10 to 12 pages long. It's really a quick read. It's a fun read. I read this in like 20 minutes, and I know why it's a staple for usually American literature, usually high school. It's just really great. I think it's a fun story for a fall afternoon or for a fall night. Not really much to say because the story is very short. If you watched the previous video, there's a recap of what goes on. Let's dive into the movie from 1961. How does the movie stack up to the story? So, this movie stars Vincent Price and uses the same title as the classic short story. So for translation into the movie, they of course had to add quite a bit of stuff. Anything like the story? For a direct translation? No. But again, the actions of the story all take place within a few hours, which really wouldn't translate well because it's more of like maybe 20 minutes when translated into film. For what the movie provides to an audience is that it's very entertaining. I think the storyline that they've added, they're a little convoluted here and there, but overall produces a very satisfying film. Vincent Price is of course a phenomenal actor and commands the screen every time you see him. I do think the film captures a sense of dread towards the climax very well. It just takes a little while to get there. There's a whole story with like husbands and wives and cheating and death and, you know, the whole lot. Do I recommend everyone watch the film? I'm kind of mixed. It is a very old school atmospheric movie, to which a lot of people today would probably think that it is very boring, very slow paced. But if you are fine with a movie that kind of takes its time, kind of world builds a little bit, climax, really about 10 to 15 minutes towards the end is where you get the true kind of adaptation of the short story. It's not going to be a direct translation. Can you watch the movie and not read the story? No, don't do that. Just read the story. But again, if you enjoy the old style horror movies, this really classic like Hammer films, I would say go for it. It's not a bad way to spend an afternoon or an evening. And again, the story is only 12 pages long. I think it is a classic, entertaining horror short story from Edgar Allan Poe, and one that I actually understand why it stuck around for as long as it has. For the movie, it's on Tubi, it's for free. So if you're just in the mood for an old horror movie, I would say go for it. But those are kind of my reviews for the short story in of itself. Great thing. The movie, kind of mixed, but still okay. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and as always, stay lit.